Thanks to Jersey Sports Zone, and Volpe makes almost the identical play.
At home they call me Big Al, and I hit dingers.
Remember that young man, Big Al?
The Minnesota Lynx select Diamond Miller.
Video courtesy of Jersey Sports Zone.
It's an incredible goal, so that's nice. It's deserved the number one.
You got my food. Number 2, New Jersey high school football.
Here on Jersey Sports Zone.
Spring sports is here, but we still got a little bit of winter business to take care of. Welcome to the Beyond the Score podcast, presented by RWJ Barnabas Health. I'm Rich Krampanis. Thanks so much for taking the time to listen or watch to our weekly discussion of New Jersey high school sports. I plan things all the time, and just when I have everything I think set, different things materialize, and you got to kind of go with the flow and changed up the rundown a little bit. So a few pretty cool things happened in the basketball and hockey world that forced us to say, let's keep talking a little hoops and ice for one more week. So coming up a little bit later in the show, our owner, Dale Florio, is back for the rundown. He's going to walk us through the excitement of the NCAA men's and women's basketball tournament, where there were some very obvious and large headlines regarding the state of New Jersey. Certainly going to talk Coach Dan Hurley in UConn, Hannah Hidalgo with Notre Dame. So we're going to talk about that. But first, we're going to celebrate a great moment. Last Thursday, Madison Square Garden, New York City, the NHL debut of Drew Fortescue, who played at Don Bosco Prep. He made his debut with the New York Rangers. And it seems like only yesterday, Drew Fortescue highlights were all over Jersey Sports Zone. Now, they're all over the MSG network. Greg Toskos, the head coach of the Ironmen, was ice level to see his player make his NHL debut. He's going to tell us everything about it and the fantastic journey of a Don Bosco player going from high school to Boston College to the NHL. Whenever we get to see the kids that we cover have their dreams come true, it always gets us excited, and we get to do it a lot. So for this week, we shine the spotlight on Drew Fortescue. We'll talk hockey with Greg Toskos and then talk some hoops and more. That's when we return on the Beyond the Score podcast. Welcome back to the Beyond the Score podcast. I thought we closed the book on our hockey coverage, but then something really special happened, and it was a great excuse for me to talk to one of my favorite coaches on the hockey scene in all of New Jersey sports, Greg Toskos, head coach at Don Bosco Prep. We got to see something really awesome, Coach, which was the NHL debut of Drew Fortescue, and you were right there on the ice level to watch this special moment. And I just wanted to talk to you about it, Coach, because I think it's a great moment for New Jersey hockey. And I guess we're all feeling a little bit older because I felt like it was only yesterday that I saw Drew there wearing the Don Bosco jersey.
Yeah, and you think about what was great was Jersey Sports Zone had that very now famous clip of Drew in 2021 doing that little lap around in the Gordon Cup, kind of like our state championship that year was COVID, and scores, and it was on MSG back then, and then now they keep playing it over and over again, which is fantastic.
It makes me look good in front of the bosses because that was a good day for Jersey Sports Zone because ESPN wanted our Hannah Hidalgo Michaela Blake's video. So we're on the NCAA women's tournament, and then MSG is showing us Drew Fortescue. That was a great day for us, for no question about it. But, Coach, I think what's amazing about this is, and for those who don't follow hockey closely, Drew was playing at Boston College just a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. When the Eagles season ended, the Rangers made the call to activate his contract this year, which I think is a sign of how much they think of him, that they're going to burn a year to see what he can do in about 13 or 14 games of NHL action. I mean, is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, well, listen, I mean, first of all, I mean, you made the comment before about just New Jersey high school hockey, and I do want to, recognize that we have a bunch of Gordon Conference players playing in the NHL. It's fantastic to see guys that I've coached against, from other schools, and it makes us really proud of our state and our conference. And then for us to have Drew first get drafted, right? That's the first step. And then, you watch his career progress. 3 gold medals, under 18s with the Team USA, then 2 World Junior Championships with Team USA, obviously coinciding with Boston College. There was talk he was maybe going to sign last year, but he wanted to go back and get stronger and continue to develop his game. And I think, the Rangers staff watched him a lot this year, including throughout this particular college season, watch him progress and get better. And when it came time, the Rangers needed a little bump with some youth. They issued that letter. It was really good timing for Drew. And boy, oh boy, he stepped in and had a hell of a first night.
For you as a coach, when I saw the video that you sent out from your perspective of him taking that rookie lap, I got chills. And I'm not nearly as tight with him as you are. What were your emotions when you're seeing your guy putting that famous blue shirt sweater on and realizing he's an NHL defenseman?
Yeah, I use the term surreal because it really was. And it wasn't just like me watching Drew. If you listen carefully and you look, he had 200 plus family members, friends. There were 30 Ironman hockey players in the building. 30 Ironman hockey players were in the building. But just like watching the excitement of all of our families, his family's so big. There's such an accomplished, tremendous family. And to watch, uncles and cousins and the Kennedys coming up from Atlanta and all these different folks to watch this night, it was surreal. It was like a piece of all of us was out there skating. And man, like I said, like you heard the roar when he stepped out for that rookie lap. Unbelievable. Then his first shift, if you heard the roar when his first shift, I think that, Kenny Albert was talking about on the broadcast, because I watched it when I got home to listen. And they were like, wow, did you guys hear that? Like the crowd was going nuts. It's like, oh, Drew Fortescue's first shift. So just surreal was the moment.
And as you mentioned, he played awfully well in that game. You could understand if he had some jitters. He gets his first NHL assist. I mean, he checked a lot of boxes that he doesn't have to worry about here going forward, and he can just kind of lock in and try and get as much experience here down the stretch. But I mean, from your perspective, what did you see from him that made him look comfortable there in his NHL debut?
Yeah, I think if you watch the first shift, the puck kind of was down in the offensive zone, so he was a little back the first shift. Again, big roar, first time on the ice. Maybe a little hesitant, one shift. After that, wow, he was fantastic the rest of the game. Stick positioning, he stopped a bunch of odd man rushes coming up on the ice. His D-to-D passing, he had multiple shots on goal, which for a rookie defenseman is hard to do. Hit the post like second or third shift in the game. That was right in front of us. We saw that. We were jumping. We're like, oh, it was right there. Played physical, had a couple of hits. So when you add up, and you look at the stat sheet at the end of the game, the stat sheet was excellent. 17 plus minutes for a first game rookie defenseman, an assist, hits, as I said, great outlet passes. But then when you sit and you just watch the game, you're like, boy, this kid gets it, because he looked so comfortable on the ice.
And from your time in high school, it's always hard to project, and guys can take those steps forward, but he was one of those guys that, you knew he was great things were ahead for him, right?
Yeah, especially just because how smart he was on the ice, right? Like, the Rangers and Boston College and so on, they're not projecting Drew Fortescue to be Cale Makar,
right?
You don't have to be Cale Makar to play 15 years in the NHL. You could be a tremendously good steady 15-year NHL defenseman because you're smart, your positioning's outstanding, you make a great outlet pass, you know, you have a great stick and poke check, all that stuff. And that's what Drew was back then. Like of course he had offense. It was New Jersey high school hockey. Like you could really excel in that. But the way he kept progressing up the ladder, you could just see that he's going to make it. I mean, his performance in the World Junior Championships was incredible. And that's the top of the top, as much pressure as you could possibly get. And I think for me, like we all knew all along that he was going to be a Division I hockey player. That was clear when he was a young kid. Okay. And then when he made it there to college, and then you started watching, like I said, World Juniors and those things, you're like, no, he's not a college hockey player. This is an NHL player. Look at the trust the coaches have in where they put him in spots in the game. And it showed the other night.
And that's such a great point that you make, Coach, because it reminds me of the Gordon Conference, which is, I always say, don't look at stats. You know, it's you know, if you want to go score 50 goals, you're not going to do that in the Gordon Conference. And that's what I think the beauty of the top league here in New Jersey is that it can get you ready for advanced levels of hockey. And, you know, what we saw this past season, I think with you and Dale Barton, just was proof positive of that. The games that you played, the Gordon Final and the state championship, I know you were on the other end of it, but it was just beautiful, high-level hockey. And that's a credit to every coach in the conference and the league and across the whole state. I thought the public games were outstanding as well. I always just felt like early on we were losing some kids to, you know, just going juniors and club. And you can play New Jersey high school hockey, as we're seeing here, and you're going to be just fine.
Hey, listen, you look at somebody like Trevor Van Riemsdyk, okay? A CBA kid, played 4 years at CBA, and people – he was very good at New Jersey high school hockey. Again, kind of like Drew, like a really good player, but not somebody that you said is going to be this superstar. How long is his NHL? He's still playing in the NHL. Obviously, James had the pedigree, and James was the guy, but look at the career that Trevor's put together. Just an amazing NHL hockey career. Tremendous young man, by the way, too. And you're right. Like the Gordon Conference, where it is today and where it's been the last, 10 or 15 years, the players that we've produced that have gone on to play college hockey have been super successful. And now specific to our program, I mean, we have 3 players playing in the American League right now. We've got another 4 players playing in the East Coast League right now. We've got a guy playing in Germany right now. And they're just playing pro hockey, loving life, enjoying it, and really, showcasing the best of Don Bosco hockey, of course, but also the best of what the state had to offer.
It is fun to watch, Coach. And again, I just want to say it one more time, what a treat it was to watch this past season and watching your program. And I think it's a great calling card for what New Jersey hockey is all about. And I also want to thank you because your savviness, I felt like I was at the game sitting next to you thanks to the Bosco hockey social media posts. I feel like I got to show my guys, like, hey, like we got to take some notes from Coach Toskos here. I really felt like I was at the game with you guys. That was a tremendous job that you did.
Well, we were fortunate again to have so many of us there and be able to grab everything from the assist call, right? And late in the game when he got the assist, we got the announcers putting that out to third star of the game. I mean, imagine your first NHL game and you were the third star of the game at Madison Square Garden against the Chicago Blackhawks, an original 6 team. We use the word original 6, and then we turn around like half these guys don't know what an original 6 is anyway.
Old guys like me know it all too well.
Exactly, me too. But yeah, I mean, we have a good group of people that send some really cool videos in, and we're excited. And look, played on Sunday, got his first penalty, which was a flip over the glass. Oh well, the Rangers killed it off. That's not a bad thing. Had another couple of opportunities for some points. Made some really good plays on Sunday, and probably a little tougher, more physical game against the Panthers. And we expect them to be in most of the rest of the way. They may give them a rest here or there, but I can't tell you how excited I am for Drew, for the entire Fortescue family who's been a part of Don Bosco for really, 25, 30, even 40 years.
Wow.
And the rest of the families, the McClinskys and the McGees, who really are just wonderful people, and they all support each other across all the different sports, the boys and the girls. They really do. It's just such an awesome family to have coached myself and then kind of be a part of in some way, shape, or form. So it's exciting.
Did you get to talk to him? Did you get any interaction after that first game?
I didn't. Brandon Vigorito is our assistant coach. He stayed and hung out with Drew. I had my younger guy with me, so we got out of there pretty quick. But he came up, and there's a picture of Drew with about 50 people that stayed after the game. You know, you got to stay for a little bit, but Vig stayed after. He felt great, really felt comfortable, was excited. I told my younger guy, it's easier on the road when nobody else is out on the road. We'll talk to him after one of the road games that they play going forward.
Oh, that's so awesome. Coach Toskos, thank you so much for taking some time with us. I always love talking with you. I feel like during the season, you and I are both so frantic we don't get to talk like this, so I really enjoyed this, and thanks for everything you do, and thank you for always supporting Jersey Sports Zone. When we have the top coaches in the state that support us, it means a lot to us, and I feel like I'm ready to get back out there and get another Ironman game here soon.
You guys do a tremendous job of supporting the kids. I mean, it is about them, right? And between all the different highlights and all the different interviews, you give them an opportunity to really showcase their talents, but also to promote them. And it's a really, really cool thing that Jersey Sports Zone does. So I thank you more than anything, because you guys are the ones that get it done.
Princeton Orthopedic Associates serves Central Jersey with world-class, world-recognized orthopedic care. A special thanks to Bill Heinsick and Princeton Orthopedic Associates for supporting New Jersey athletes and Jersey Sports Zone for the last 9 years.
It's really nice to be in a situation, in a place where there are very good people who take good care of people.
Orthopedics it's not about saving lives, it's about saving quality of life.
A lot of people, we live high stress lives, so if you tell someone they can't do something for whatever reason, that's pretty traumatic.
I really take pride in trying to be empathetic and trying to put myself in every patient's shoes.
I want to take care of people like I'd want to take care of my family, and I think that when you do that and give somebody that family feeling and give them your honest opinion for what you would do, they value that.
JAG Physical Therapy is a trusted name in quality treatment. Get back the life you love. Thanks to JAG Physical Therapy for supporting New Jersey athletes and Jersey Sports Zone for the last 5 years.
Why go through physical therapy? Seriously, why go through all of that pain and suffering? You can give it your all and still fall short, still feel less than whole. I guess the better question would be, what if you don't?
Welcome back to the Beyond the Score podcast presented by RWJ Barnabas Health. Excited to bring in the principal owner of Jersey Sports Zone once again, Dale Florio. I thought we were going to be in spring mode, Dale, but there were so many incredible things that happened on the winter side. We still got a little bit of winter sports to talk about, don't we?
It's not going to leave us yet, Rich. There's just too much going on. Too much going on.
Absolutely. So I thought we'd start out by saying, as this podcast drops, as it does every Wednesday, we have completed our postseason coverage of honoring our All Zone teams, which is really our version of All State. And I believe the 120th or so video went out here the day before. So I thought that would be a good place for us to start the rundown.
Well, without a doubt. Listen, I mean, the team, the Jersey Sports Zone team, puts in a lot of effort to produce 120 videos, right, for hockey, boys basketball, and girls basketball. So I know the amount of time everybody puts in. And I have to tell you, we couldn't do this. I think people don't understand that this is just not a group of folks sitting in a room, saying who's going to be on the team, right? We reach out to coaches. We've spread them out around the state so that we get really what the coaches think should be the honorees for this year. And it's we have 120. We could probably do 240, right? There's just so many great athletes in here. So, ultimately some decisions have to be made. And I think you guys came up with a great lineup. Absolutely. And I'm glad you brought it up, Dale, because we do appreciate the input from coaches more so than anything else. As a reminder,
as people continue to get educated about what we do at Jersey Sports Zone. Our Player of the Year awards, Mr. and Ms. Hoop Zone, are voted on by the coaches. Everybody gets a ballot. And I think we're getting to the point, Dale, where you probably need to get a ballot at some point and get you know, as the owner, and you're watching everything, especially going on with boys and girls basketball. I think I'm going to have to get you to make a ballot next year. But when you go on our page, you can see all the coaches that vote for our Player of the Year award. And then we also get input when we put these all zone teams together. James and I talked about it a little bit last week, and I think it's important to bring up again. There are some incredible players that were not on the all zone team, and there's a lot of different circumstances. We're a little unique in that our primary function and focus is on video. So the amount of video that we get goes a long way into, for us, it's an eyeball test thing, kind of, right? Like, hey, we're talking about this particular kid, and then we go, well, I shot him here, and he or she did this, and I shot him here, and he or she did this. So that's the thing. And as I said last week, postseason performance goes a very long way, and we want to honor the teams that make it all the way to the end of the road. So if you're a state champion, you got to have a player on our all zone team, right? So we use that as a process. For the coaches that came in, I know you got a couple emails, Dale. I got a couple of emails. Really appreciate their input and feedback. And I think maybe the one thing I think about, Dale, going forward is, perhaps we should reach out on social media and let coaches know, hey, we're about to pick our all zone team. If you want to weigh in, send us an email or send us a DM. And because the emails we got were for some excellent players that were certainly worthy. And, if we had that information, as we're making those last decisions, it could even help your player even more. But we just want to thank the coaches for that support.
No, and I think that's a good idea, Rich, because, especially we've got some feedback, and these are students that are going to be seniors next year, right? So now we got them on our radar screen, right? Okay, they had a good year. Maybe they played for a smaller school, didn't get that far advanced in the tournament. So, yes, I think we should ask for that kind of feedback and let coaches fill it up. I mean, the emails that I got from some coaches were very professional. They were just trying to show the best of their players, and we welcome that kind of input. So
we sure do welcome that input. There's no question about it. And I think that's we're always constantly, Dale, especially Coach Florio, when we're patting ourselves on the back too much, it's always, hey, what can we do to be a little bit better? And that's the takeaway I got from that is I think we're doing a heck of a job, and I think we're getting the right players. And you just got to remember how good this state is. And we don't want to make it everybody gets a trophy, right? So there is a threshold there. You're looking at, I think the one thing we do really well is divide non-public and public. I think we're doing a good job with that. It's almost like a top 25 list. And every once in a while we sneak a couple of extra names in there, but this state has so many incredible athletes. That's a heck of a threshold to get to. So,
well, speaking of Jersey proud, I mean, Hannah Hidalgo, right, in the NCAA Tournament. God, 31 points the other night to beat Vanderbilt in the Sweet 16. I mean, she is, and I know you're going to tell everybody what Coach Ariema had to say about her, but I mean, she just continues to make us all very proud.
Well, I think the fun part about this is that the diehard college basketball fans all know about Hannah Hidalgo. And now I think that the Hannah Hidalgo effect has now reached to even the casual sports fan, that here's this young lady at Notre Dame who is putting up the kind of performances that are grabbing the headlines across the entire country. I mean, she goes up against a Vanderbilt team, Dale, that has been unbelievable and has Michaela Blakes from Rutgers Prep and Justine Passat from Red Bank Catholic. She almost had a quadruple double in that game, Dale. 31 points, 11 rebounds, 10 steals, and 7 assists. So she's doing all this scoring, but she's unselfish as well. The magical ride ends in the Elite Eight against UConn, and the first thing Gino Auriemma, the legendary coach, is talking about in that press conference is Hannah Hidalgo. I just think it's great that everyone is seeing what we already knew, right? I mean, that's what we do here. Right. We see these kids on the ground floor, and always good when I get communication from you. You know, we got the request from ESPN to share our video because here is the big headline of the Sweet 16. Michaela Blake's first-team All-American, Hannah Hidalgo, second-team All-American, going head-to-head. Well, they happen to face each other in high school. And I guess a sign that we're doing a pretty good job. I can remember that was a Saturday morning, and I can remember there were a million games going on, both in hockey and boys basketball and wrestling and everything else. And I remember us saying, we got to get to this game. Paul VI is going up to Rutgers Prep, and it was Blake's against Hidalgo, and now here it is in the NCAA tournament. Was a pretty cool thing to see.
It's time for another Blast from the Past, brought to you by the Heldridge, New Brunswick's only 4-star hotel.
Notre Dame outlasted Vanderbilt 67-64 in an incredible Sweet 16 matchup. Hannah Hidalgo and Michaela Blakes went head-to-head in a thriller, but that wasn't the first time that happened. For this week's Blast from the Past, brought to you by the Heldridge, we go back to 2023, where Hidalgo and Blakes battled it out in high school. In a regular season matchup, it was Hidalgo and Paul VI who conquered Blakes and Rutgers Prep. Hidalgo finished with 29 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 steals.
Blast from the Past is brought to you by the Heldridge, New Brunswick's only 4-star hotel and a preferred hotel of Rutgers football fans since 2005. The Heldridge helps you make the most of your game day weekend, providing premium accommodations in the cultural heart of downtown New Brunswick. Restaurants, bars, theaters, parks, museums, and more are only steps away. Whether you're traveling alone or with a large group, book your stay at the Heldridge and make the most of your game day weekend.
Dream big, they say. We say dream bigger. Over 3 million square feet of bigger, so you can plunge deeper, play in the snow longer, wonder greater, pose with your friends sillier, shop with your family happier, make every meal tastier, and float higher than ever. Whatever your dream is, come live it big time at American Dream.
So, Rich, I want to know where you were last night at about 8:30.
I was with everybody else. I was locked in watching the NCAA tournament, and unbelievable.
Anybody that wasn't watching the game last night, I'm not sure I want to know you. I mean, on social media today, right? They're talking about whether that play is going to replace the Christian Laettner shot as the shot. As one of my colleagues said to me this morning, Jersey was in the house again, right? The Hurleys of Jersey City.
Listen, it was an all-time moment in NCAA tournament history. It's going to be shown for the next 40 years. I'm going to date myself, Dale, because one of my most things I'm proud of in my career was I was the host of the Cliff Ellis Show during his time at Coastal Carolina. Back in the day, he coached at Clemson, and at remember the old Brendan Byrne Arena in New Jersey?
Yes, I do.
UConn beat Clemson on a Tate George shot with 1 second left that was as wild as what we just saw. So I thought about my good friend Cliff Ellis, that maybe now that this shot by Mullins is going to be the most famous shot in UConn basketball history, and the Tate George can maybe slide, because the reaction, and you can relate to this as a coach, Dale, of we're about to beat UConn. They got to go to the length of the floor in 1 second. The look on Coach Ellis's face of just watching it, you could just watch the blood drain out of his poor body. So that was what I was thinking about when that thing happened. I said, well, there's the most famous shot in UConn history. But it's always a reminder of the ties. I wish Jersey Sports Zone was around during that era, but we got to see a little bit of Bob Hurley for 1 year before St. Anthony's closed down. And that's what I always think about is, what Bob Hurley means to New Jersey basketball. I feel like watching him in the stands and his wife, Chris, getting to enjoy their son being one of the best basketball coaches in the country and being shown on such a national stage, I think it's just a reflection of Coach Bob Hurley, because if he decided to go down that route, I think he would have been at that level. So I think it's fun for me to see him live vicariously through his son and be right there. And we all know the Hurley way here in New Jersey. And does it work? Well, 3 Final Fours in the last 4 years, Dale. No further questions. The way Dan Hurley coaches, the way he puts a program together is a direct reflection of his dad. And look, we were so lucky that Bob Hurley decided to stay in New Jersey and the impact he had on this state. And look, we're old school guys, right, Dale? You know, there's been a lot of talk about that. The old school way clearly works. You know, there's been a lot of talk with Coach Cronin in UCLA, these guys who will get in your face and maybe yell a little bit. Nothing wrong with some hard coaching. You know, there's love behind it. And when players can register that, boy, you see the results.
And, you know, it was good for the Big East League with Connecticut moving on. I mean, St. John's played Duke very tough. Could have won that game, right? I think the Big East was not positioned particularly well in the tournament. I'm not sure the folks that make those picks thought enough of the Big East. So Connecticut continues to and will carry the banner, and hopefully they can get one more step and make it to the final, and then we'll see what happens. I wouldn't want to play Danny Hurley in the finals, that's for sure.
Look, we got to have another ceremony in Jersey City. That's what we need. So hopefully we can see Coach Hurley.
Let's go there, right? I know everybody at Jersey Sports Zone is very excited about April 6th. We're going to be in Jersey City working with the Dick's House of Sports. I know that Duke fans are not feeling particularly well today, but if you turn the page and you think about next season, they're going to have this young fella, Deron Rippey Jr., out of Blair Academy. I mean, he is the top prospect in the country, or certainly one of the top, and I'll let Rich put the exclamation point on that, but he's going to be live at our podcast that we're going to broadcast from the Dick's House of Sports in Jersey City.
And that's what I thought about, Dale, is if Duke fans are looking for a little bit of medicine, we got it for you. We're so fortunate that one of the very best players in America is taking time. He's at the McDonald's All-American game, which was just played yesterday, and he is working his way back to New Jersey. He's going to Portland for the Nike Hoop Summit. Before that, he's going to spend some time with us, and we're going to dive into it. We're going to talk about that transition now from high school to big-time college. And it is surreal when you and I are watching that game. Is this kid is going to be, I think, a big part of the Duke mix next year. And it's going to be exciting to watch him play and how another great coach that you're familiar with, Joe Montaigne at Blair Academy, has gotten players ready for big-time college basketball. I think we're gonna talk about that, and we're gonna get to talk about prep basketball and, you know, Deron's decision to stay faithful and stay at Blair for 4 years. It paid off in a major way. And on top of that, if that isn't enough, we're going to have Micah Gordon from Plainfield, the guy that, captivated this entire state. He won our Mr. Hoop Zone Award. So we got a couple of nice trophies to hand out there at Dick's House of Sport. I know it's spring break. We're going to be taping at 3 o'clock on Monday, April 6th. If you have a chance to come on by and check it out, we'd love to have you come along. I'm sure those guys will sign some autographs. And the guys at Dick's are going to give us a Karl Anthony Towns autographed basketball to raffle off. And I think they're giving away some different things as well, which is unbelievable.
They have some other tchotchkes, and we might have some Jersey Sports Zone T-shirts to give away. So,
that's breaking news.
Encourage folks. Yeah. Encourage people to come on out, see Rich and the team at 3 o'clock, and I'm looking to make sure that I can get there as well, Rich. So
it's going to be a great event. We're really excited to partner with Dick's House of Sport. We're going to do one of these events every season. So this is the first one. We're excited to have these two great athletes join us. And who knows, we could have a surprise guest. You never know. We're gonna work on some things. But Dick's House of Sport, Monday, April 6th. We're excited to show what that beautiful place is like as well. So great to have them support the kids here in New Jersey high school sports by supporting Jersey Sports Zone.
On the ice, you train to avoid getting checked. But in life, getting checked is the smart thing to do. By scheduling regular doctor visits and screenings, don't let joint pain, heart disease, or cancer go unchecked.
Get checked.
For over 2 decades, ACI Medical and Dental School in Eatontown has been helping students succeed. Their short-term programs can jumpstart a long-term career in less than 5 months with a 90% employment rate. The medical assistant program will have you learn phlebotomy, EKG, and patient care technician skills, while the dental assistant program includes dental radiology certification. It's perfect for second careers, college grads, or empty nesters. Call 732-440-4110 and learn how medical assistants can earn up to 4 national credentials and 10 college credits. ACI Medical and Dental School, a new beginning on Broad Street in Eatontown. And now that the spring sports season is here, that means we're back with the ACI Medical and Dental School boys and girls game of the week. And we'll give you a nice mixed bag. We'll give you a little bit of softball, girls lacrosse, flag football, of course, baseball and boys lacrosse. We'll put it right there for you. Our good friends at ACI Medical and Dental School allow us to give this heightened coverage each and every week. We really do appreciate their support. And if you are looking for an alternative to college, ACI Medical and Dental School is worth checking out. If you just do a little bit of research and dive in there, what an opportunity to get yourself a career in less than 5 months. And the employment rate speaks for itself, over 90%. ACI Medical and Dental School, a proud supporter of Jersey Sports Zone. Please support them.
It's one thing to win one award, but it's another 46 things to win 46 awards. New Jersey's most comprehensive academic healthcare system. Learn more at rwjbh.org/US News.
So, Dale, when you talk about spring football, and yeah, here we are, spring football, especially these big-time programs, people are so starved for just any football content. You've got people watching these practices. And the thing you got to remember is Luke Wafle was at Hun about 6 or 7 weeks ago.
You shared with me a video of him against this other fella from USC. They were both like 6'5", 6'6", 275. And I noticed that the world did shake a little bit when those guys went at each other on a one-on-one. But he seems like he's turning heads out there already.
He was a guest on this podcast, and I think I'm laughing now because maybe one of the dumbest questions I've asked. The normal progression for even a 4 or 5 star athlete is, hey, they're going to redshirt you for a year and let you get your weight up and get accustomed to the college speed. I thought, hey, do you think you're going to redshirt this year? And Luke Wafle looked at me from California like I was an alien. Like, what are you talking about? And he was very dead serious and looked very deadpan in the camera. It's like, no, I'm going to be playing this year. Well, we're 8 practices into Southern Cal football, Dale, and I'm seeing all this stuff on the internet. I saw a meme that just said, Luke Wafle's a monster. And then you're looking at this film that I shared with you that we're posting up here. Film doesn't lie. I mean, I think this young man is going to, be one of those very super rare people that is going to get to play at the highest level as a true freshman, which is, again, a credit to the Hun football program and Coach Smith for getting kids ready for the next level. And I guess, as we're turning the page here, Dale, it does make sense. Like, I just say a little spring football here. I couldn't help but notice that. And big thanks to Luke for joining us about 3 weeks out before his first spring practice. He was here on the podcast. So it was really cool to talk to him. And I just can't wait to see what happens.
That's always struck me, Rich. All the interviews, the young ladies, the young men, very mature, these top athletes. They're under a lot of pressure these days, more so than any folks would have felt back in the 2000s and the 90s. I mean, these kids are under a lot of pressure. The social media is crazy, but I'm always amazed at the maturity in which these athletes are able to express themselves and think about their future. So credit to their parents, but also credit to these folks as well. So let's close it out here in terms of there is a spring season right in front of us, right? I mean, and we opened up, lacrosse is underway.
I think the theme here of the early part of the spring, Dale, is our top lacrosse teams. You think, hey, maybe we're going to ease in and have a couple of cupcakes to get our legs under us and some confidence. Every top lacrosse team in New Jersey took the opposite stance. They said, hey, why don't we play top 25 teams in the country? So when we're looking at the schedule, say, hey, what are we going to get? We go, well, Del Barton's playing the third-ranked team in the country out of Greenwich, Connecticut, Brunswick. Seton Hall Prep took on Chaminade out of New York, the number 5 team in the country. And then down in South Jersey, St. Augustine faced the number 13 team in the country, Episcopal Academy out of Pennsylvania. So all the Jersey teams lost, but our biggest takeaway was that all 3 of these teams played very well and looked nationally ranked teams right in the eye. We got a good taste of it by watching some nationally ranked games here early, and now everyone will settle in and start, playing their normal schedule. But that was the takeaway from that opening week, Dale, is you say, hey, let's see what we can get out there. And you're looking, hey, why this team from out of state? And then you look them up. And I went to Del Barton, Dale. There were 17 juniors and seniors on that Brunswick team. 15 of them were Division I commits, and the other 2 were high academic Division III commits. So I said, you got 17 guys, and that doesn't include the sophomores that were playing in the game that are about to be that. I said, I looked at the roster, and I did a little homework. I said, every single one of these guys, and you go down the list, Virginia, North Carolina, Maryland, Penn. I mean, it's unbelievable to see that much talent. So I think these top teams in New Jersey should be encouraged, even though they all lost, that there's going to be some excellent lacrosse in New Jersey this spring.
Well, I think what you pointed out here too, Rich, is that the East Coast is definitely the dominant lacrosse region of the country, right? And then even the games that you just highlighted that Del Barton, Seton Hall played, and St. Augustine. I mean, all the Northeast, right? The Northeast has been a mecca for lacrosse. I mean, Brunswick up there in Connecticut with that kind of talent. Now, it doesn't mean the kid hasn't come from some other part of the country, but the East Coast and certainly the Northeast has been somewhat of a mecca for lacrosse, and they're certainly showing their bona fides this year.
Yeah, and we can't wait to see Lawrenceville because they're supposed to be the best of the bunch, and we're gonna certainly spotlight them as much as we can, and then that segues into a lot of the baseball, I think, is going to heat up here towards the end of the week. So we're going to have a little more baseball coverage than we've had here early on. And then we'll start looking at softball and girls lacrosse and flag football as well. So I feel like the back part of this week, Dale, is when we're really going to roll out. You're going to see kind of the full spring sports getting started. We had a little bit of lacrosse here, and it's now we're seeing more baseball games pop up this week. And it's time to make that transition to the spring sports season.
Time to go. Absolutely, yeah.
Well, Dale, thanks so much for taking the time with us. A reminder one more time, next week's show, which will drop on Wednesday, will be from Dick's House of Sport in Jersey City. We'll talk basketball one more time. We'll get the winner out of our system, present our players of the year, and then we'll also talk some spring sports as well. And a reminder, you can see all of our content each and every week and each and every day on JerseySportsZone.com. And Dale, thanks again for taking some time, and we'll get you on the docket next real soon here.
Anytime, Rich. Look forward to it. See ya.
For Dale Florio, I'm Rich Krampanis. Thanks so much for watching. This is episode 28 of Beyond the Score, presented by RWJ Barnabas Health. We'll see you next week.
If you have chronic joint or back pain, this is probably where you spend your time. Might we suggest a better destination that's close to home? RWJ Barnabas Health, where orthopedic surgeons designed the surgical implants that are now used around the world. and where you'll be cared for by the same doctors that treat professional athletes and rising stars. Get back to what you've been missing. Orthopedic care. Do it right. Here. RWJ Barnabas Health.